come up with like an intro, like something, or not like an intro, but like something I say every time I start one of these videos. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could help build an audience and help create like an actual image for my channel. Because all the image that my channel really has is just, I do live streams on here, and I'll post, shorts, mostly political stuff. Um, but but so yeah, I want to come up with like like something to say, like a phrase to say when I start these videos. Because usually I just say, "Hey guys," but I want to come up with something better, like an actual like thing to say whenever I start one of these. So, I have quite a few updates, and I also have a really exciting update. So, I think what I'm gonna do with these, unless I forget, which probably half the time I will forget. So I'm not guaranteeing that I'll do this every single video. It might be like every other video or every few videos, but I'm gonna actually try to update the stuff that happened most recently first, because half the time, like 99% of the time, my motivation for starting one of these videos, well, 50% of my reasoning is either I'm not doing anything and it's a good opportunity, or something just happened like that day that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So I think, other than obviously the times I'll definitely forget, I think I'm going to try to start with the most recent stuff first. So, we went to the farmers market today. This is actually the third weekend in a row we have gone to the farmers market. Well, not in a row. No, not in a row. I don't think. But this is our third weekend going to the farmers market, and we went because there was some, some pride stuff going on. So we were kind of walking around. Unfortunately, Lauren decided to come with us. Um, but it was still fun. There weren't a whole lot of new booths, but we found the black raspberries, which was interesting. Um, the cheese guy was there, but we didn't get anything from there. But yeah, so they had black raspberries. They had, and they also had these other two kinds of berries that were like a combination between blackberries and raspberries. So we got three different kinds basically. Yeah, because we had the black raspberries before, because mom got them last year at the farmers market, but there were two ones that we had never had before, so that was kind of neat. So I had tried two new versions of raspberries that I had no idea existed. Um, I also got this absolutely amazing. There was a guy that had a stand that was selling hot sauce, and it was this mango hot sauce. And it is absolutely fantastic. And I have a frozen um screaming Sicilian pizza that's one of the cheese stuffed crust pizzas, and I think I'm gonna use the hot sauce with that. So I was really excited about that. I was trying to convince mom when we were at Fred Meyer to get the Papa John's garlic's butter, because they had that there, but she didn't want to, because we don't. My mom doesn't like to support Papa John's, which I understand her reasons, but um, they're not worse than any other pizza company. This is the thing I always try to tell my mom, is it's like not going to Walmart or not going to a certain place because, like I understand her reasoning as far as like, obviously you can't boycott everything. So try to boycott the brands and stuff that you can. But like, I don't necessarily understand the reasoning if it's a brand that is just better or a brand that's cheaper. Like, Papa John's pizza, in my opinion, is the best fast food pizza. I feel weird saying fast food about pizza, but I guess it technically is. Um, but we don't ever get it. Um, and this is the thing about, an example of something like this is Walmart. It's like, the only reason why people have the impression, like a lot of people have the impression, Actually, let me rephrase that. I think the reason why my mom has the impression that Walmart is worse is because they either just have a worse PR team than like Kroger does, or they just don't care as much to, refrain on their views and stuff. Like Kroger isn't any worse or better than Walmart. They just, they just are able to present themselves better. And it's like Walmart is usually cheaper than a lot of the other grocery stores out there. Not saying not saying Walmart is cheap at all. Just like it's cheaper than most grocery stores. Um, so it's I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like I always try to tell her. I always try to, but she doesn't. I don't think she cares. Um, but it's just one of those things. Like I understand boycotting what you can, but also like Walmart is not any worse or better than any other grocery store. It's just they're able to create a better image for themselves than like Kroger is. Or no, Walmart is able is Kroger is able to create a better image for themselves than like Walmart is. So I just it's just one of those things. Like, and the thing is, this is also part of it too. Is this is part of the whole reason why certain brands and companies have better PR for themselves and better advertising that make them look cleaner. This is part of the reason, right? Is part, the reason is to convince people to not buy from a certain company, even though, um, buying cheaper products might benefit them. I'm sure that's also part of the motivation in having a better or worse PR image. Um anyway, so yeah. Um yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things where like I really try not to get wrapped up in debates and political arguments with like my mom and my grandma and especially my sister. And I know my dad, his advice is always just don't get involved. But it's like when you're in the car just sitting there, the conversation is happening, their conversations are happening right in front of your face. And unless you put headphones in and blast music the whole time, which is irritating to do every single time you go in the car, you can't help but not hearing their arguments. Yeah, or like you can't help not hearing what they're saying unless you're like asleep or something. And I just can't. Like I can't just sit there and not tell them that their argument is like the argument of someone with point 0.5 brain cells. Like I can't just sit there and not say something about that. It's one of those things where it's like really I'd save myself a lot of mental stress if I just didn't get involved, but also it's like man, you know. Anyway, so I got totally distracted there. So, yeah, but we didn't. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna use that mango hot sauce probably when I cook that pizza. But yeah, so we got those new raspberries and blackberries, and then the hot sauce, and then we also got cookies that we brought back, and we got ice cream, of course, and then we ended up going back to the Venezuelan booth because it was there. It was there again, and Chris and I really liked the stuff we got there. Although, man, the last time we went there, I had gotten a stomach ache later in the day, and today I got like a really bad stomach ache, and I ended up having to do a rinse off in the shower, but it like fell apart because as I was preparing the shower, like my glasses were off, so I don't know if I was just seeing things. Cause it's funny, cause I feel like whenever I hear people talking about people just seeing things, like thinking they saw something when they didn't, or like someone saying that in like a story, I always laughed at it. Like I always used to laugh when people are like, "Oh, you're just seeing things." But it actually is applicable. Like, Because the thing is, I was getting the shower ready and I could have sworn I saw a spider. And it was like a really scary one too. It was like a very large black spider. And like I could have like there's no way there's no way I could have mistook this for anything else. Or just, my eyes were playing tricks on me. And so I was like tedious to go in the shower. It was annoying. Um, but I didn't want to risk it. There are any number of places a spider can hide in a bathroom. Um, Unless you're in Australia, in which case the spiders are so giant it doesn't even matter. Um, so anyway, trying to think of what else we might have gotten. The berries, the hot sauce, the cookies, the ice cream, the Venezuelan stuff. I think that's it. I don't remember getting anything else. Well, Chris and Lauren made bracelets. Chris's bracelet is actually delved in controversy because he made his too big and he's like fretting over it. Um, and that's actually all we did today. Um, but I found out that when we got back home, so if you have watched one of my other videos, what kind of one of the last one I did when I was walking to Hagen, I was saying that two potentially cool things, my mom and dad were talking about. One was, after we had that rat in our house that we had nursed back to health. Um, Mom was talking about getting a couple of rats again, and then I was like, well, that's one thing, and then the other thing is we might potentially be going to Montreal this summer. Well, it's confirmed, guys. We are going to Montreal again. And I think the only reason why we are doing this is because grandma is paying for the whole thing. And I feel really bad for her. I It's one of those things where I kind of feel how my mom feels like I feel kind of uncomfortable because she's been, obviously she's been going through a lot and she's dealing with cancer treatment and all this stuff and I kind of understand where mom is coming from, feeling uncomfortable with the whole thing. But yeah, we're going to Montreal. We're going to Montreal this summer. The last time I went to Montreal in the summer was 2019, and obviously the last time we went to Montreal period was in the winter for my grandpa's funeral. Now that's the unfortunate thing is, unlike when we went in the winter, it's not like I'm gonna really look forward to any crazy wintry weather because obviously we're not going in the winter. But yeah, we're going back there to just to visit. So, there's not gonna be any like it's not gonna be as stress. It's not gonna be nearly as stressful as the last time we went because obviously the last time we went to Montreal was for very different reasons. So yeah, we're gonna be there for a week from July 29th to August 5th. So yeah. Um I will say the other thing that's gonna be less stressful is it's like I'm not really I'm not really any worse or better physically. So I'm not gonna have to feel embarrassed in front of everyone because I was already there. So um yeah. And the other cool thing also, guys, is I don't know which is which. Like I don't know which one is happening coming back or going, but there's gonna be a layover in Atlanta and a layover in Chicago. So yeah, I know you're gonna have to stay in the airport obviously for layovers, right? But when that trip ends, I can say that I've been to Chicago and Atlanta. So, and okay, so I know that sounds so stupid. Like, oh, like a layover in Chicago and Atlanta. But like you guys don't understand that it's really amazing for me because we never fly. Like like we never fly anywhere, and the furthest we usually ever go for vacation is driving down to Long Beach or Bellingham or Vancouver, Canada. Those are our main places, which are only like 2 and 3 hours away drive. um and the furthest we've gone recently is a 6 hour drive for my high school graduation. um, and again, the other thing to put in perspective is the only U.S. states that I have visited so far in my life have been obviously my state, Washington, and Oregon. And the only other parts of the world I've been to are, because we're bordering Vancouver, so we've gone up to Vancouver, Canada, plenty of times, and we've occasionally visited. We've also, also every 5 or so years or so, we've gone to Montreal. But that's why it's so cool to me. Is it's like I know for most people saying like, oh, there's going to be a layover in Atlanta and a layover in Chicago. That's probably not really cool to most people, but it is to me because we never like I've only ever been to two US states, and we rarely travel for further enough to be anywhere else. So I know it's technically, all happening inside of an airport, but it's just cool, even if it's only for a few hours, or even if it's only for like a couple hours. Um, I don't know. I just love the idea of being in like a different place. Cuz this is the thing, is it's like we have pretty much strictly stayed um local. Like, we don't travel as much as most people. We don't fly nearly as much as most people probably. We don't move out of state really. So but yeah, it's going to be fun. I hope at least. Um so hold on, I might make a bit. Oh yeah, I'm going to create a highlight. Actually, this will be a highlight. Wait, how do I? What? Okay. Um but yeah, that's so yeah, so we are going. It's confirmed. Dad was showing the receipt papers over there. Um so yeah, I'm so excited. Um I'm so excited. And this is going to be our biggest, our furthest trip since 2023, because 2023 was obviously the last time we went to Montreal, and um the last, really far distance we traveled was for my high school graduation, and even that was like 2 years ago. And in the whole of 2025, we only did one vacation, and it was to Long Beach in February. So, and we haven't done any trips so far this year. So, it's been like a year and a half since our last vacation. It's been like 2 years since we've traveled a really far distance, and it's been since 2023 since we've gone to Montreal. So, and Montreal, Canada, from where we are is like a 5-hour flight. So, cuz it's Montreal, like as far like for US, for to envision it, like Montreal is kind of by like New York, I'd say. Kind of by New York. I feel like last time we were in Montreal, I remember seeing like a sign for the New York border. But yeah. So I met her on my way to Chicago, and she was all alone. Um, so, hold on, guys. Okay. What is happening? Okay. So, yeah, so that was pretty much the updates for today. As far as it was Sunday. Nothing really happened yesterday. Yeah. I don't think anything happened yesterday. What is today? The 28th? Yeah, nothing really went on yesterday. Because I was trying to remember what if we did anything on the 25th, and the 25th and yesterday we didn't really do anything. So, um, on Friday, um, and this is gonna be pretty much the end of the updates. So I had ended up asking at the end of Thursday because the thing is, obviously, mom was still like, I didn't know if she was still angry. I didn't know, it was one of those moments where I was really nervous to ask her, but I ended up finally, getting up the nerve to ask her, and she said probably. So I knew I was probably going to go to Kent, the banks in Kent on Friday. But honestly, like as with the last couple times mom and I have been out, we've ended up doing a lot more than I thought we would. So, um, obviously, tomorrow I also knew mom was going to grocery shop, right? So we got up and we went to Fred Meyer, and it was bliss because it was once again just mom, grandma, and I. I don't think Chris went with us. I can't remember. Maybe he did. I don't know. I know. I don't think he did. No, he didn't. So, nothing in the Coinstar as usual. But yeah, so we grocery shopped and then we went home, and eventually we left, and it ended up just being mom, Chris, and I. So um so I went to the first bank, in Kent, which was the one kind of by Kent Station. I think it's like Wilson Avenue. I don't know. I can't remember the street name. Um, and mind you, this is the bank that I thought would give me a lot more coins. So I had gone in there and it was promising by the start. Like the teller seemed nice and everything. I thought it would be a breeze. In fact, I was even kind of having a little conversation with her. I was in a good mood. I even told her like the oldest coin I've ever found in circulation. Um, and I don't think they had any half dollars. I don't remember. I don't think they did. They had some dollar coins, which I bought, and there wasn't anything. Um, and so I thought it would be a breeze. And then I was like, can I get some coins? And I kind of told, listed out what I was looking for, which is what I've been doing lately, kind of listing out. And then usually what I say is I usually say something along the lines of, and I wasn't sure what to say about pennies because I know pennies are kind of a question mark right now. That's usually what I say. And I usually am like, so I was just wondering what you guys could do for pennies. Um, and most banks say only a couple rolls. I think they gave me $2.50 in pennies, which is more than most banks had given me. And the interesting thing is, this was the bank that last time I went to Kent, they said they could. It was a policy that they could only give me 2 rolls. So kind of interesting. So I got those, and I listed out the other coins, which was like it was. I think it was like what I originally said was like 50 in nickels, 60 in dimes, and then 100 in quarters. But they only ended up having they had the 100 in quarters, but they only had 50 in dimes, but they only had like 20 in nickels. And the thing is they only had 20 in nickels, and when I grabbed them, I realized 99% of them had Sharpie marks on them. So I basically had no nickels. So I was low key kind of freaking out because this was the bank that I thought would give me more. Give me more, give me more. Um, and so we went to the other bank, and they actually had all they actually and the other bank, I actually towards the end got excited because I listed out the coin I was looking for, and she was basically just like, no problem. And she pulled it all out, and it was machine wrapped, and actually thought I was going to be able to do this because I asked for like $60 in nickels, um like $50 in dimes, and like 115 quarters, and it was all machine wrapped and stuff, and I was really excited. And then I look at the nickels and I'm like, these are brand new. Now I will say the cool thing about the brand new nickels was they were 2026. I could tell because they had the dual date. So I finally got my first 2026 coins other than the half dollars. Which is crazy to me because it's like I got some of those 2026 half dollars months ago, at least a month or two ago. So it's insane that I got half dollars months ago, and now I'm just getting 2026 nickels. Now I will say every single roll was 2026 nickels though, so I only kept 3 rolls. And it was kind of kicking me because I don't know if they're like rare ones or not that you should hold on to. I don't know if they're going to be low minted yet or not. But I did keep 3 rolls because obviously I wanted to have some for my collection. But yeah, so yeah, like I still had basically no nickels. So we ended up we were originally gonna get a drink, and then it's funny, this has been happening lately. We go to get a drink or a treat or something, and we end up just getting food. So we were gonna get a drink, and we were in Kent, and because I had told mom, like, I had kind of asked mom if we could go over to the Chase by Trader Joe's. Um, and so we went over there, and obviously we were in that area, so we were looking for places, and we saw JP's, which that place has been there forever. And we ended up actually going there for lunch. Now, the food was good, but I will say there was a gristly bit in the steak chili that I had that is really like the only thing I can think about that meal. So that was kind of sad. But yeah, so we ate out to lunch again. Um and we were gonna get like just a drink somewhere else because we still kind of wanted just a drink. So we ate lunch and then I went to the bank and I like I will like I feel like every time I go, like I feel like Kent is like the place I don't want to go if I want to get nickels. I feel like almost every single time I go to Kent and I get nickels, they end up being uncirculated or hunted. Like I don't know what it is about Kent and me having an impossible time getting nickels that I can hunt. Like I even went to this bank and I asked for $60 in nickels and $20 of it were circulated. Um or $20 worth of it were circulated, or no, $40 of the nickels were circulated and the other 20 were not. So it's like out of three Chase banks, I only got $40 worth of nickels that are that are huntable. It's insane. So unfortunately, I don't have as many nickels for this hunt. I do have 215 quarters, like 110 in dimes, and then I have between the three banks, I have just over $5 in pennies. So I realized though that I completely forgot when we came home that I still had $20 in nickels. So I might go up to Chase again and see if I can exchange them for some other nickels before I do the hunt. Especially because I don't need to film anything right now. Although I want to get my most recent mixed hunt uploaded because it's been over 14 days since I did my last upload, and that's even more than I usually like to do. So I need to get that video uploaded soon. Um, but yeah, I want to maybe try to get back to the chase, and there also is, if we're, we're also having our dentist appointments on Wednesday, so there is a chase in Fairwood that's right there. So who knows? I might even try that, if mom lets me. That is, but yeah. So I will say though, the quarters were all machine wrapped and were all circulated, and the dimes were all machine wrapped except two rolls of dimes that actually look a little older. Um, all the dimes were machine wrapped and they're all circulated as well. So everything else but the nickels. Although the 40 the 60, like, because as I said, at the third and final bank, I had gotten 60 in nickels and $20 worth of it were circulated, but the other 40 were circulated. Those 40 were machine wrapped. And they were Brinks too, but they were circulated. So the hunt is literally all machine wrapped except for the pennies and two rolls of dimes. So yeah, but I'm gonna see maybe if I can do something at the chase before I actually film the hunt. So but it's another hunt where I kind of have something to seed the hunt off with, some 2026 nickels. And I also, if I don't end up getting to the chase before I do the hunt, which I probably will, but if I don't, I have I have like some loose half dollars and loose dollar coins that I got at the second and third banks that I just wasn't able to return. So if I am not able to get to the chase before I do the hunt, I'm just gonna put those with the intro, even though I literally hunted every single coin, which I really don't like to do, but why not just show that I got them? It's not really any different than showing uncirculated coins, right? So, but yeah, I'm hyped about the quarters though. I really hope the quarters don't let me down because machine wrap dimes, dimes in general, I haven't had a whole lot of luck with lately, and I only have $40 in nickels. So I'm really hoping the quarters don't let me down, because last time I hunted quarters, I got that 1942 silver quarter in the machine wrapped. And quarters, I also, I have $250 worth. So I'd honestly be pretty sad if I didn't get something. Not like, it's not like I would be shocked that I didn't get something. I would just be sad if I didn't. Because, although, I just hope that one of the denominations produce something. Like, maybe there is a silver nickel in one of those rolls, or there's a West Point quarter in the quarters. It's been a hot minute since I found a W quarter. Not like too long, but I think the last one I found was maybe a month ago. Although honestly, I might be a little happier um if I found like a silver in the dimes, because um silver dimes have been rough. Um, they have been relatively rough. Um, I don't know. The dimes started kind of dwindling down in like March, I'd say. So it'd be really nice to find some silver in the dimes, but machine wrap dimes I don't have a whole lot of hope for, and they're also all Loomis rolls, which I don't tend to get as many silver dimes and Loomis wrapped dimes as I do machine wrapped. Um, as I do Brinks wrapped dimes. So that's the other thing. So the main thing I'm banking on is the quarters. Giving up something. So I just showered and my stomach is still hurting, and I took Tums. So I don't know. I think I'm hungry. I can tell I'm hungry. Well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom again because constipation moment. Thing is, normally at this point, I would just deal with pooping, but I already did. Like I literally did when I showered, or when I rinsed off. So, but yeah, so I'm hoping soon I can. You know what? Honestly, um, I like if I go to if I go to my walk up chase, and I bring those nickels and any other coins I have, um, and I ask about switching them out for other nickels, and they're like, we have a lot of nickels, but the only ones we have are already searched ones. I think I might just buy some of the searched ones. Because it's like they may be searched, but at least they're nickels. And at least, unlike uncirculated coins, there's still the chance to find oldies. In fact, a lot of coin roll hunters don't even pull out their 40s and 50s. So I think even if they end up having like nickels, but they all end up being searched, I think I'm still gonna buy some of those anyway, because like it's still nickels I can add. And the also thing is, it's like, if they have a lot of nickels and they're searched, guarantee they're probably gonna have a lot of them. So you know, I can get like $40 worth to compensate for them being searched. So yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna try to go to the chase this week, and I might even bring those dollar coins with me and just return them. Also, to get a little bit of money in my account, because I stress whenever I only have a couple of dollars in there. So I will say also, obviously, one of the things about Montreal, one of the main things is my card, because obviously I am Obviously, I'm out. Obviously, I'm gonna want to make another return to the bank before I go to Montreal. The good thing is obviously I don't have to worry, like, I don't have to do what I've done before where I have to rely on my parents to deal with my money when I want to buy stuff in Canada. That's the good thing about having a credit card is last times I've gone to Canada, I didn't have my credit card at the time, but now I do. And I also I did ask mom about it just to make sure that there wouldn't be any problems, and she said that there wouldn't really be. It's just that sometimes the bank gets like a fraud notification from it, so I need to be aware of that, just in case that ends up happening. So I think I'm just gonna let my hair do its thing. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna give up having it stay behind my ears. I will say though, the annoying thing is, um, I've been seeing like a resurgence in dandruff. Like my dandruff was working perfectly. My dandruff shampoo and conditioner was working perfectly in like April and March and maybe even some periods of May. But now it like I don't know, it hasn't given out on me, but I've been seeing a resurgence in um, in in the dandruff. So yeah. Oop, device locked. Gay cookies. Wait, so I'm already bi. So will will this cookie just make me gay times two, or will it just make me gayer? No, I think I am gonna turn on the lights. I don't know. It's depressing without the lights on for some reason. I was trying to milk all the natural light I had, but I don't know. Not having the lights on is just depressing. Especially because I think that's part of the reason why my stomach is hurting is because I'm hungry. Another reason I can tell is it's like I crapped already. So it's like it's not because of that, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna end this. Yeah, see you guys later.